33 years old. I made my first million at 32. I made my first 100K at 30. I started making money at 29, like actually like being comfortable. So from 19, which is like when I remember I started like dealing with mental health.
It's never too late to start.
To 29, I was dead broke. But I was always trying things. But like, if you're wondering like, how the fuck were you like, how did it take that long? The internet wasn't as prominent as it is now. But also, to be honest, I had like a lot of setbacks. I had a lot of setbacks. Like my mom hoarded, and that set me back for like a long time. I was living like in a bathtub. We would do the dishes in, and I would like bathe myself in that same bathtub. Like we would do meals out of the microwave for like 4 years. So like I really resented her for like a long time, and I couldn't touch anything in the house, otherwise she'd freak out. So that was one thing. And then when that was done, I started getting really bad acne, and that was affecting my confidence because I was already not a confident guy from those living situations, and literally getting you guys in my head of like why I had so many setbacks. And then when I had the Accutane, I did Accutane, I was like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, do life now. As this whole time I'm a personal trainer at a private gym, going through it. And then what happened? Gyno, I did the gyno surgery, and then shortly after I started losing my hair, and I was bald, so I could never like be comfortable in my own skin for my 20s. Like I hated my 20s so much. And besides those factors, in between all these like issues, I'm like trying to be a personal trainer, so I wasn't trying, I was doing it. I was the youngest in Long Beach at a private studio at 19 years old. 19 to 25, I trained a lot of people, retired citizens, professional golfer goes by the name of Patrick Cantley, was a childhood best friend of mine. I did that, but then I wanted to be the guy that paid the trainer. And keep in mind, I'm doing this, you know, going through really bad mental health. Probably could have used some medication at that time. And then what did I do? We moved to Newport. I was dating this chick, and she was like, "You want to be a trainer your whole life?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And I wanted to be like, you know, I just wanted to be rich. So I got into commercial real estate. She had planted that in my head to do real estate. I was deciding residential or commercial, and I just decided commercial. I just basically flipped a coin. I was like, everybody does residential. I'll try to get into commercial. Commercial real estate is a good profession, but it's for rich kids. I'll be straight up with you, like if you're watching this, like if you're in commercial real estate, you're probably a rich kid because you're not gonna get deals for the first like 2 to 3 years in terms of like being able to make something of yourself deals. I'm not talking about small lease deals. I'm not talking about you got a couple sales. We all get that. Anybody good at it gets that. I got 8 listings in 6 months, but and I closed half of them. You're not gonna do well in that profession unless you come from a rich family, because a lot of deals aren't gonna go your way, and you just have to keep your head down and keep going after new deals. And it's very cliquey. Like people go to USC and UCLA, and you know they be going to fraternities, and their parents do this, and then it's very, very cliquey. Versus if you're thinking about doing real estate, I'll tell you right now, do residential. You can hustle and make something of yourself way more in residential. But I did that for 3 years, and I thought I loved it, and then I thought I liked it, and then I realized I fucking hated it because I hated the people that like I'm just dealing with rich assholes, and I'm not changing anybody's life. And on top of that, I'm getting fucked with. Like I have more deals that didn't work out that should have worked out, to be honest. And I think like half of that is because maybe I came off like I needed the money. If you understand, you understand. You know, like I didn't have a trust fund to sit behind. Like I needed to get the deal done, so maybe I was a little too pushy, but that served me right in some aspects in commercial real estate as well, where I needed to be pushy. One time I told one of my clients to shut the fuck up and accept the deal, and he did. And he needed that because he was gonna ruin the deal. And it was a multi-million-dollar deal for selling his property. I just yelled at him, I was like, shut the fuck up and take this deal. And that's something you probably wouldn't get a mentor to tell you to say, but it was the right thing to say at the time. So I just didn't have that time to enjoy real estate because I was dead broke the whole time. So as I'm closing a deal for 40 grand, 30 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand, where do you think that's going? It's going towards my credit card debt, that's getting me out of debt, then it's gonna go towards rent. If I have a social life, I have a girlfriend, that's not a lot of money, especially when you're always in debt and you're getting out of debt. So there was that, and then my first big year was supposed to be COVID. I'm supposed to make 150K, and if you told me, 150K would have felt like $1 million for somebody who was broke forever. So when COVID hit, I lost my pipeline pretty hard. I didn't work with another broker. I wanted everything to do by myself, and I lost my pipeline, even though the deals I shouldn't have lost, because industrial ended up doing really well, and that was the sector I was in. I lost those, and I got really depressed. And then I got even more depressed when I saw the younger guys in the same field as me start making multiple six figures because they had a senior broker and they were doing these collaborative deals with owner users that Trump had incentivized the PPP loans. Okay, this is a whole different conversation, but basically he incentivized these loans that got industrial owner users into buildings that they wanted because they were getting favored with these loans, and I was already out of the game. I had checked out. I was dating a chick at the time. We did a road trip to a bunch of national parks. That's where I figured out, like, I love hiking, I love the outdoors, and I really just don't want to do real estate anymore, to the point where when we were done for 2 weeks and we came home, I literally fucking like freaked out, and I got really depressed again because I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get back to work. I fucking hate this job. Like, please God, don't make me do this. And then I sucked it up and I did it again. And this deal that should have happened didn't happen. And basically the seller faked a stroke, and the buyer had offered him something that was like, it was like 18%, 20%, close to 20% above market. It was like a beautiful deal, and the seller said he wanted to sell, and then he faked a stroke. And I punched a hole in my wall in front of my ex, and I took my chair and I fucking like broke it in half. And I broke a couple other things, like my monitor. I just lost it. I was frantically crying. It was gonna be like a 70 grand check. Like, I just totally lost it. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is fucking insane that I can't make something of myself. And at this point I was 27 or 28. And I was like, this is insane. And I sucked it up again. I went my blue BMW and I fucking drove to the meetings. I had to go to a meeting, except I quit that day because I looked at my hand and it was bleeding all the way down into my shirt, and that was because I punched the wall and I had fucking, just fucked up my hand. I didn't even realize because of my adrenaline. So I called the senior broker that I had teamed up with because I realized I needed to team up with somebody, and I go, hey man, not gonna make the meeting. Something came up, handle it. And I hung up the phone, I quit that day. And I said I was never gonna do anything that gets me that mad ever again. And then I was living on unemployment with the stimulus checks. I was so broke that my buddy was having a bachelor party in Miami when I was 28. Was I 28? I think I was 28. It was 2020. And I couldn't go because I had no money. And then the stimulus checks came out, the $1,400 stimulus checks. And that's what I spent my stimulus check on, just to be able to go see my buddy for his bachelor party in Miami. That's how bad it was. And then I was also 40K in debt. And then I had a roommate move into that house. I was living with 3 other guys. The roommate moved in. His name's Ryan Hamlin. Still my boy, my brother. And he was like, you should do TikTok. I'm like, oh, that's fucking gay, isn't it? Like, it's like fucking for kids. He goes, no. He's like, there's some cool shit on it. He's like, you should definitely, get out there and do some TikTok. And the whole reason why I never did YouTube was because the whole editing and the whole fucking thing was like intimidating to me. But I knew I wanted to like. Another thing that would get to my mental health and make me depressed is I was like, damn, am I gonna die and nobody knows I exist? Like, that sounds like a death sentence. Like, that would make me depressed in my 20s a lot. So long story short, I started posting, and they're pretty bad. But I'd find a gem here. I get 16,000 views here, something, just enough to keep plugging along. And I started doing these disclaimers. This TikTok doesn't endorse steroid use. Stay natty, bros. That's what I used to say on my fucking disclaimer. And I would talk about my former life as a bodybuilder because I was off. I'd done hair transplants and I was just totally gave up the lifestyle. Those videos started instantly doing really, really well. But I fucking hate, and I hated and I hate the fitness industry. So I still do. I didn't want anything to do with coaching. So I wanted to become famous for comedy. And I would get addicted to doing something that popped off for like 500K views, going to Wild Goose. It's a bar here in Costa Mesa. And people go, oh, that was hilarious, but that didn't, I was addicted to that, but I wasn't getting paid. And I was about to lose my account because a lot of my comedy was like raunchy, like adult humor. Some of it was just Republican, and I was just getting flagged. So I'm like getting bummed out. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go all in on the fitness thing. I'm gonna just start accepting the people that want me to coach. I keep saying no to it. I'm just gonna say yes to it. So in essence, TikTok trying to take down my account was the best thing that could ever happen in my life because it changed my life. And I think I made like 100 grand in the first 3 months. coaching, and I retired my mom within the first 4 or 5 months of coaching, right when she needed me to retire her too, because she was going broke, by the way. Fast forward to now, we are at 7 figures on our way to 8. I won't settle until I have a 9-figure career, but anything short of that will be an excellent life and still a blessed life, but I'm in pursuit of excellence. Now that I'm here, the last thing I need to do is make a huge content push these next 2 years, because people need to know who I am. Because you guys are getting the worst fitness content. You're getting really, really shitty fitness content. I would say there's a lot of great creators out there. I would say none of them are in the fitness industry. That's like how low my level of like respect is. I've always been transparent. I've kept it a buck. I've been really honest about like what I do and what people do and all that shit. And it's built a cult following. Really, I would say almost like a I don't know. It's pretty strong, because I make more than people with millions of followers, and I don't, I'm at 12,000 on Instagram. So it's pretty sick. But now me and Tyler are like always like sitting down, like talking about this. We're like, dude, if we can get like to 2 to 3 million, like that's like $1 billion. Because I know how to monetize. And it's not all about the money, but it's also like how I'm making the money is I'm changing lives. So like if you hire me as a fitness coach, I'm gonna change your physique for the better. If you hire me for a money coach, I'm gonna make you rich. If you join my brokerage, if you listen to me, you will become, if not rich, financially comfortable. And if you really listen to me and you actually like, you're comfortable in front of the camera, or you're fit, or both, and you're not just going into this kind of like just blind as a bat, you will become rich. So the way I become wealthy is making people rich. So that is my life in a nutshell, and I've never been happier. And I'm sitting here, and my Ferrari's getting tuned right now, and getting the exhaust straight piped, all that shit. So we're gonna spam that around the city until we move to Miami, where we're getting a Cullinan, the Ferrari, a penthouse to live in. Like, I'm gonna move into Miami, and I want like the who the fuck is this guy effect, because that's what we're gonna do the next 2 years. We're gonna be tearing it up. And on that note, that is, how long was that video?
13 minutes.
13. I feel like that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
Fire.
That was fire. All right, cool.